praises to Yahweh Bashem El Shai Bashem Kakodash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to entitle this video 2nd Esdras Chapter 15 verse 16 meaning. So I asked GPT. So I'm going to read through this, and then I followed up with this question: what's the GMS Israelites take? So I may entitle it, I asked ChatGPT, what does this mean? So anyway, I read through this. I read a little bit of this just when I said, let me make a video. Kind of went through this. But anyway, you know what I'm going to do? No, they didn't even give you to read the scripture. Normally they give you the scripture. So let's go ahead and read it. And y'all should know it. 2nd Esdras Chapter 15, verse 16. And it's happening now, but it's going to get worse. It's going to escalate. Now, we don't know if they're going to make this happen, and in order to bring back order, everybody got to get a chip. They're going to cut everything. This, Nero, there was a shutdown in the government, and people didn't get their food stamps. They got the last food stamps. He's not going to give no more food stamps out because they don't have the money, this, that, and the third. And you had so-called black women, some Jake men, bitching about, they ain't getting their food stamps. Thanksgiving's coming. I'm just going to go in the supermarkets. I'm just going to grab, smash and grab, as they call it. And they had a bunch of Jake women doing that. And like I said, some men. And then everything went back to normal. Everybody got their checks or their money. Now they're talking about shutting the government down again. There's talks in the air. That's why you got to watch the news. At the end of January, so we're talking 30 days, 30 plus days, that the government's going to be shut down again. Now I believe that their first shutdown and the fact that they didn't get their stamps or their WIC, I don't know if they got WIC for children. But the SNAP benefits they didn't get, the first thing that came in my head is a psyop, just to see how people react. And they're saying, well, do this again, all hell breaks loose. We tell them we're giving you everything back, your benefits, but you got to take the chip now. Watch how many Jakes take the chip, and you're gonna know the difference between the elect and the non-elect to Israel. We keep talking about that. We beating a dead horse. We do this to ad nauseum. Look that term up. And that's when 7 women shall take hold of one man. It's going to happen on this side. So I'm just going to read the precept. Y'all should know it by heart, but I'm going to read it anyway. I might even read it in the GNT. So, 2nd Esdras 15 verse 16. Really, you got to read the whole chapter. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They run out of food, they're going to go to the next door neighbor, kick the door in to see if they got food. They're not going to necessarily look for money. If they got gold, silver, jewelry, they can hawk it to get food. The thing is, we got to eat. They shall not regard, they shall not have any respect or regard or listen to their government, kings nor princes, presidents, governors, mayors, and the course of these people, the civilians, the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're going to have power. So they're going to overthrow certain governments. There's going to be times where they're going to go into these government buildings and, they might take the governor hostage or something to that effect. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man, so I'm focusing on the 16th verse. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for the great tribulation, or the time of Jacob's trouble, great tribulation. Now this is featured in the movie The Road. If you haven't seen that movie, I got the DVD somewhere. You need to watch that movie. So let me see. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy his houses with the sword and spoil the goods, because of the lack of bread. Because of the lack of bread. The lack of bread. Now, the elder head of GMS Chicago, I was watching one of his videos. I got him on notification. I'm subscribed to him. So I did like a lamb back. And he went and he mentioned the Baker's Rebellion. I never heard of that. So, and I went through it the other day. Let me see something here. Okay, boom. Here we go. It said for the lack of bread, right? The lack of bread. I put a Baker's Rebellion, and Bacon's Rebellion came up. They wanted Gad out of the land. This was in West Virginia. Nathaniel Bacon. Yes, in Virginia. Virginia, they wanted Gad out. So here it is, the Baker's Rebellion. I went through it yesterday. Now, what did we just read in 2nd Esdras 15 and 16? Let me go back to it again. For there shall be sedition, and the word sedition means to speak to people. The people you got their ear, and you rile them up, and they go, we got to take this building. They don't do anything. They don't have a gun, but they call for this downfall of local government. So you're charged with sedition. Well, I didn't have a gun. You didn't have to have a gun. You told people to take down this government building. It said, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their governors, presidents, mayors, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. So now let's jump right here. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. And they're coming for the food. And they showed you that in the Road. The movie The Road. If you haven't seen that movie, you got to see that movie. Starring what's his name? Viggo Mortensen. But shall destroy their houses with the sword. The modern day sword is a gun. And spoil their goods. What are your goods? Your food. Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Like I said, I believe this is going to happen. And they're going to give you, they say everything be back to normal. You just got to take the chip. Everybody said, where do I sign up? Where's the line at? The ones of you that's in the know, you're going to know not to take it. You're going to know that that's the you know what. That's when we're going to see these other major camps. What are they going to tell their people? And if they say, oh, take it so you can eat, you got to eat. If there's elect among them, they're going to rebel against their leadership. It's going to get real out here. This going out on a Saturday and doing the videos, you at your crib, rent is paid, you got food in the fridge, in the ice box, You know, you good, right? You're gonna be good until you're not good, until the chip comes, and then you're gonna have to make that decision. Do you if you believe that you want to elect, you're gonna make a decision. Look, either I eat a meal or F it. I'll just die. I gotta eat a meal. And my wife is nagging me about this, because your wife that claims to be in the truth, that's gonna be a major test for her. So it says, to spoil their goods, take their food, anything for sustenance, because of the lack of what? Of bread, and for great tribulation. Now let me go to the where am I? Okay, right here. It says, what's the Baker's Rebellion most often refers to the Southern bread riots of 1863. The Civil War started in 61. I believe Lincoln was already dead, and it was the bankers from Europe that killed him, because he set up the greenback. When they set up this national bank, he was like, "No, we ain't dealing with this bank. We got our own money." And Kennedy did the same exact thing, and he got taken out. So if you're spiritual, you know you can connect the two. 1863, during the Civil War. What's the Civil War about? The war between the established government, which was a continental Congress, which was 13 original colonies, and they wanted the West, the South, to join in. Now the West was open. The West was still open. They were going out to the West, but the main battle was here on the East Coast, from the northeast to the southeast. Civil War, where desperate women storm bakeries. That we call it today. We call that looting. And these wasn't so-called Negroes. These were Edomite women, white women. Bakeries for food due to soaring prices. As I said in the video I did last night, everybody's talking about prices going up. They don't understand money. The prices do not go up. The value of your money goes down, so you need more of those dollars. And that happened. Just look, going to the history of the Weimar Republic, where they, through inflation, hyperinflation, it's going to get, you think it's bad. It's inflationary right now. Wait till it goes to hyperinflation, where you go to the gas station, it's $3. This afternoon is $6. Later that night it's $12. The next day it could be $30. Even when you in the German Republic, the Weimar Republic, when you went to a restaurant, they gave you a menu with no prices on it, because when you ate the meal, it'll be one price. Okay, it's X amount of dollars. By the time you finish the meal, it might have tripled. This is why at Walmart they have these digital prices, so they can change them. You can pick up something that says $9.99. You get to the cashier, it's $12.99. And that's what all these stores, these supermarkets, and these these big box stores, you got to check the price. Each thing that you got to write down the price so you can know how much everything is. And then as they go, then you tell them, "Oh, no, this is not the price." Then they'll get the manager. Okay, they know what the fuck they doing. Do they nickel and dime in your asses? So this is real. See, you stupid ass Christian, you dumb monkey minded Christians. It's all about Jesus. They don't realize that these prices are going up. These riots. You got riot police in New York. What happened years ago in Europe, different parts of Europe and around the world, where you got the police, the riot gear, they got the riot gear on. That's happening fucking in America. You fucking dummies. But people want this man out, and it's not this man. He's just a front. He's a puppet. He's a front. That's Phil Green. Anyway, it said for food to do for desperate women storm bakeries for food due to soaring prices. And a lot of women were making their own bread and making their own food. A lot of them have farms. This is in the southern part of the country. But it also alluded to 76. I'm sorry, I lost my space. Desperate women storm bakeries for food due to soaring prices. But it could also allude to the 1617 Bacon's rebellion. Let's do this. Southern Bread Riots, 1863. What? Protest by hungry women in the Confederacy demanding bread, accelerating to looting stores. But that's what niggas do. That's what YNs do. You see what they're doing? Well, the Edomites did the same shit back then. So it's not a black thing. It's a hunger thing. Oh, I was watching the movie Hunger Games, the original. I saw it in the theater and I watched it. I got all into it all over again. That whole concept was they tried to rebel against the government and they lost. And for punishment, you had to from each what is it? Was it called region? Was it region 12? Something. I think you had 12 regions. They would have a lottery, and they would pick. I believe they would pick a boy and a girl. And you got to watch the movie, you know. But anyway, the government, they tried to overtake the government. They lost, so they said, okay, as a punishment, you're gonna have to you have to send your kids, and that's gonna be a reality show. It's a great movie. I didn't see part 2, part 3. I said, first of all, it was written by a woman. That's why the heroine of the movie was this chick. But you got to watch that movie, man. You got to watch. Another movie to watch is Elysium, and that's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. When Elysium came out, and I believe it was 2013, 2014, I saw it with one spirit, but now I see it now, and I'm saying that shit is happening fucking right now because it wasn't happening back in 2013, 2014. Remember, this is pre C. Ragamuffin. The C. Ragamuffin changed the whole attitude of the planet. That's when these prices got all fucking crazy. Businesses, what do you call it? The middle class, these mom and pop businesses, a lot of them just went out of fucking business. Hey, there was a big thing that herbologists and homeopathic doctors were dropping dead left and right. This was a couple of years before the C. Ragamuffin. They know what they're doing, man. But you people, you can't see it. All these people that came up against the Israelites, that includes myself, that includes ISBK, IUIC, any of these Israelites that do, because they do teach that you're Israel, so I give them credit on that. These people that buck up against it, they're going to start saying, you know what? Them Israelites were right. And the Christians don't have an answer. Just love Jesus. Yeah, but I can't eat my food, but just pray to Jesus. And vocab will pop up out of nowhere and use his magic wand, and you got in your food, you got food in your cupboard, you got food in the fridge. So let's go ahead and read this. Please forgive me. It says, okay, right here. The Southern Bread Riots. And back there, and even before that, 1863, you had cannibalism was big down there. You had a lot of Edomite slave owners that used to kill their slaves, chop them up, cook them, and eat them. They eat them, you know what I'm saying? But you're going to tell me that these people going to make, no, they're going to make it. Edomites are going to make it too in the kingdom. They're going to be sitting right next to you. They're going to have a crown on their head. Some of them are going to be, that's the new spirit out there with these, with Genesis, which they, if you can't see that they fucking sold out, if you can't see that they sold out, something's wrong with you, bro. All of a sudden, we ain't seen this guy, Divine Prospect, in what, 5-6 years? All of a sudden, he pops up out of nowhere. And they doing lives together. And said, what? Protest by hungry women in the Confederacy, the southern states, demanding bread, accelerating to looting stores. So if they say that's a nigger thing, no, it's a white person thing. Go back to the bread riots. We learned that from them. If you're going to learn it from somebody. Why? Why? Severe shortages and inflation, I read this in last night's video, made food unaffordable. It's affordable, still, it's affordable right now. You can buy stuff, but it's high. Like, you go back 20 years, with $100, you can buy. Remember when when you used to go shopping with your moms or whatever, they had a whole carton full of food, just all kind of food. 50, 60 items. And might be $30. It might be $25. You go back to the 20s, you can shoot. With a dollar, you can buy all kind of things. So what happened back then is what's happening right now, and it's gonna get, but you haven't experienced hyperinflation. Because you don't study history. You have a thing called inflation, then you have a thing called hyperinflation. Then you really gonna tear shit up. All you motherfuckers gonna act like YNs. Why? Severe shortages and inflation made by food unaffordable, for working class families. The rich, they had their food because they had the money. Let me say that again. The rich didn't have no problem with that. What are we living in? We're living in a kleptocracy. Let me look that up. Kleptocracy. Let me find I don't need this. You have a kleptocracy, which is ruled by a secret government rulership. Let me see. Let me see here. Kleptocracy. The rich didn't become super rich because they were digging ditches, working with their hands. It says kleptocracy is a government where corrupt leaders use their power to steal public resources. That's your taxes. For personal gain, effectively ruling by theft. That's what we're living in, a kleptocracy. With systematic corruption becoming the norm for maintaining wealth and power. You want to become rich? Become a congressperson, a senator. These regimes enrich themselves through bribery, embezzlement, and state capture, often hiding assets in foreign countries. When you have a country that goes down, right? And like a South American country, when they get ready, before they get the president, guess what? He hops on the plane and he goes to I don't know, Egypt. I don't know. He goes to another country. He goes to Russia or whatever. Because they're going to get his ass. And when they get his ass, he already knows what's going to happen. They're going to kill him. And his family. They did the French Revolution. Read about the French Revolution. And what's her name say? Queen, what's her name? Antoinette. They said, Queen, we have no food. We have no bread. So she said, you got cake. You go let him eat cake. But they said that she really didn't say that, but that's the saying. And they said that she was for the people, but her husband was a fucking asshole. But it caused him and her to get their head chopped off with a guillotine. All right? So that was your second republic. Your first was the United States, was Democratic Republic. And then your second was 1887, the French Revolution. All right? Using complex financial system. A tariff is what? It's nothing but a tax, but they use another name. Don't say tax. That's a trigger word. Use tariff. Nero made it seem like he's gonna put the tariff on the Chinese. Really, the Chinese hate it. They said, okay, no, we still gonna send their cars, but we're gonna up the price 20%. And the way they did it was fucking slick, because you buy a big box item or a car, several months later you get a bill from the government. Oh, you owe this money. What do you mean? I paid everything. I paid the taxes. Yeah, but there's a tariff on this. And they didn't tell you that. And that people, he's getting ready. He's been talking about this for the last couple of months. He's going to start giving out $2,000 checks to everybody. That's going to cause inflation. But the reason why he's doing it is to jumpstart the economy again, because people are not buying like they used to. That whole thing with RFK Jr. talking about you can't buy sugary drinks and food and snacks. Watch how that shit backfire, because these companies that make this, they're going to lose a lot. Their revenue is going to be cut in half, or fucking 75%, because a lot of people are on food stamps. So you can't buy them items. So a lot of these businesses are going to go out of business, or they're going to go to the government saying, look, we ain't making no fucking money. When you get your EBT, or not your Section 8, but your EBT, your SNAP, your what's it called? A SNAP, or whatever, SNAP, nutritional whatever it is, SNAP benefits, or you pay your rent with your, if you're in the welfare. Every time you go to the bank gets a little bit of money off that. So when he said, look, we can't give out food stamps for this coming month. If that was to go through, they said that the food stamp program, supermarkets, right, around the country, they made $9 billion a month. So guess what? You don't get the food stamps. Guess what? These supermarkets are going to go out of business. That's what they depend on. They depend on the SNAP benefit people, the food stamp people, the EBT, the WIC people. If all that's cut, all those supermarkets are going to go out of business. They're going to be empty shelves. See, there's a cause and effect. For everything that you do, it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. These terrorists are backfiring on this man. But this is a kleptocracy. You got a new word, okay? You can use it now. It says corruption becoming the norm, because everybody knows. Anybody that goes into politics, they know, well, this guy's corrupt. He corrupt. For maintaining wealth and power, these regimes enrich themselves through bribery, embezzlement, and state capture, often hiding assets in foreign countries, using complex financial systems which drain state budget, that's your taxes, hinders development. That's why anywhere you go now, as the roads are all fucked up. When you go back 20 years, the roads wasn't fucked up. There's potholes all over the fucking place. And undermines democracy. Democracy, the people, you know what? Clinton, when he first became president, his inaugural address, he said democracy is an experiment. He said bold experimentation. When you watch that whole thing, what do you mean by that? He said that he was talking about democracy, that it's an experiment. Well, guess what? It don't work. Look who you got in office. Look at the last guy you had in office. Democracy does not work. Democracy is by funding authoritarian control, as seen in examples like Russia. Well, what happened in Russia is happening over here. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let me come on back. Let me come on back to this here. Where am I? Did I open up another? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so it says why severe shortages and inflation made food unaffordable. Now it's affordable. You're gonna bitch about it. Oh, this is $120. I only got 5 items. Unaffordable for working class families. That's a middle class, and then from the middle class to the poor. Key moment. We want bread, not blood, became their cry. And this is a cycle. Let me come down here. I'm sorry. Other meanings. Bakers Uprising, a contemporary grassroots organization in Pennsylvania using baking for social justice. UK politics. Bakers Rebellion also refers to a conservative group led by, I don't want all this. I don't want all this. This is the main thing. So history repeats itself. Let me go back over here. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Oh, this goes hand in hand with Revelation 6 as well. Because bread and rice are staples to the diet. Forget about meat. You can't afford meat. You got to be rich to get meat. So let me come over here. So I just asked this general question. I'll read some of it. Let me see. The second Esdras 15:16 also calls the fourth Esdras in some Bibles is part of a prophetic, apocalyptic passage. I'll explain it clearly and safely with context. The verse, paraphrase, says that people will rise up against one another, and they're also against the government as well. Fight for survival and care more about protecting themselves than about love, order, and authority. Order is government. If there's no government, that's the word. The definition of the word anarchy means without government, without leadership. That's why you have a concept called auto ab chaos. You bring order through chaos. When there's so much chaos, people got to calm down. Okay, we got to establish something. We got to get the smart people to be our leaders. What it means, social collapse and chaos. Time of Jacob's trouble. The verse is describing a time when society breaks down, and we're living in that time. We are living in that time. Trust between people disappear. Communities turn on each other. Survival becomes more important than morality. If I got to kill you to take your bread, I'll kill your ass. This kind of language is common in biblical prophecy and symbolizes this disorder without government, or government refuses to help, nor just literal fighting, judgment as a consequence, not random violence. And the chapters around it, the Most High responding to injustice. This is an unjust place, injust. Oppression. The oppressor cease. The golden city cease. Trump's presidency is also known as the golden era. People abandoning righteousness. So the chaos is shown as a result of human behavior, not the Most High enjoying destruction. I have a book where it goes into the law of fives. And part of the law of fives is 5 steps. One of the steps is chaos. And then after that step comes order. Order add chaos. Order through chaos. Apocalyptic style. Symbolic, not literal only. Ezra is written in a apocalyptic literature which uses intense imagery to make a point. It's meant to warn people. Now it says in the first couple of verses of this same chapter that the ones of our people that don't believe, forget about them. They're going to die. Just forget about them. If society abandons justice and compassion, it collapses. If society abandons justice and compassion, it collapses. And this guy's looking bad. This guy, as a New Year, I'm talking about Nero. He's making these. I'm gonna do it. You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do. And the people, the red hat people see that, man. You ain't shit. When fair rules, people turn against each other. Not fair. When they can't eat a meal. If you can't eat a meal, you're gonna bust somebody in the head to get their meal. And they ain't looking for your money. They'll look for your gold and your silver and your jewelry so they can hawk it to get more food. Who was saying this? Going back to the elder Malcolm, I think he was speaking about the movie I Am Legend, where this guy, the main character, Will Smith, Dr. Robert Nevels, he went into a warehouse and there was food. I mean, not food. There was a stack of money, FRNs. They weren't doing nothing with it because, first of all, everybody's dead. You got the night walkers. All you got to do is go to different places and eat the food up and kill people, whatever. It's a message to the original audience for Jewish communities living under oppression, especially after Jerusalem's destruction in 70 AD. Now these people say, we had to suffer through 78. No, you didn't. You wasn't there. You wasn't there. Matter of fact, you were coming against us. You were the Romans. This passage validated their suffering, warned against becoming cruel or faithless themselves, encouraged repentance and endurance. Big idea in simple terms. When people stop caring for justice, faith, and all that shit go out the window if your fucking belly is touching your spine. Society falls apart and everyone suffers. If you want, I can explain blah, 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 blah. So now I put in what's the GMS Israelites take. The GMS Israelites take, Great Millstone Israelites have a very specific literalist and militant interpretation of 2nd Esdras 15 and 16. I'll explain what they teach, not endorse it, and I'll add context so you can understand how it differs from mainstream scholarship. Like I said, these Christians like vocab, they don't think this is going to happen. These Christians, your run-of-the-mill Christians, they don't think there's going to be a mark of the beast. They don't teach that. But there's certain born-again type Christian groups that really go into the scriptures, which are among Edomites, not you simple-ass Negroes. They speak on this. When it comes to pass, the first people that's going to protest the microchip are in my opinion, it's going to be these Edomites. They're going to say, this is the mark of the beast. We ain't taking it. Jake is going to say, what the hell is the mark of the beast? What's that all about? You're going to have, hey, Captain Tazariak, you're going to have a lot of dudes calling you. All your calls back. What's your next caller? Hey, what about this mark of the beast thing? Is it the microchip? Because I've been listening to GMS. Hang up on him. Next caller. This mark of the beast thing, what is this all about, brother? Is the chip the mark of the beast? No. The right hand represents Jesus sitting on the right hand of the Most High. So it's spiritual. It doesn't mean nothing. Yeah, but can I take it? He might say yes or he might say no. We don't know what he's going to do. But I'll pay to watch this look on his face. If you can, you can put that as a pay-per-view. What's Nate gonna say when they make the chip mandatory? What is Nate gonna say? What is Captain Zariak gonna say? What is General Yohana gonna say? What is Genesis gonna say? What is Sakari gonna say? What are they gonna say? What the hell are they? What SOT? What they gonna say? What you gonna say? You talk a lot of shit. Oh, it's symbolic, brother. It's sin in all of its forms, whether it's political, religious, or political. I'll pay to see your motherfucking faces, man. GMS interpretation of 2nd Ezra 15:16 summary. GMS typically teaches that this verse describes, and you women gonna be shook. All that shaking of the head and the finger and all that, and you're picking grapes. You know what I'm talking about. When black women talk to you, they get mad. They start picking grapes out of thin air. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, ask somebody. Okay, typical teachers that describes the near future collapse of modern society. We're already in it. I got news for you. Hello, we're already in it. The system is collapsing. Let me go back again. Tenero Redivivos. He's been saying it for the last couple of months, and he did it with the C-Ragamuffin. He gave out checks. He gave out fucking checks. So he's talking about giving out checks again. Yeah, I'm going to give out $2,000 checks. Then it went from 1,776 checks, meaning checks worth $1,776, which is the whole, American thing, birth of America. If you get these checks, if let's say 200 million Americans get this check, it's only to kickstart the economy. That's it, to go back and buy. Now, it can backfire because people can say, let me just hold on to it. Or if they're smart, let me turn it into gold or silver. Actually, silver, the poor man's gold. United States and other Western nations, and they read it very literally. Of course it's literally. Of course. I gave you the perfect example, the Baker's Rebellion. Let me go check on silver. Oh, it's 7. Okay, let me refresh it. Okay, steady. I believe it's gonna skyrocket. I believe, my opinion, it's not a prophecy, it's an opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of January, the beginning of February, silver is surpasses $100. That's just my prediction, not my prophecy, right? Let me do this again. Oh, this is staying stable. Anyway, let's come on back over here. Where are we at? People rising against another, and the government too. GMS says this refers to civil unrest. What is civil unrest? When they protest the government and they try to take down the government. Race-based conflict. Yes, that's going to happen too, but more so it's going to be class warfare. The super rich against the rest of us. The overlords, the vassals and the serfs. Then they're doing away with the vassals. It's going to be all serfs. 1%. Breakdown of law enforcement. They often, and then the cops are going to quit because They got to go out and they got to get their riot stuff, and they got shit thrown at them. Some of them are getting injured. People are throwing Molotov cocktails at them. They getting burnt. They saying, "Look, I'm burnt out. I'm out of here. I'm not a cop no more." They often connected to riots, martial law, economic collapse, social distrust. They don't trust anybody. People say, "I ain't got no food in the house." You got nothing but food in the house. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna bust your door open. And you're gonna know who's gonna do it. Your next door neighbor's gonna bust your door open. They're gonna put a gun in your face. And they're gonna write for the cupboard in the refrigerator. They're gonna take all your shit. But like I said, I believe they're gonna do this to a certain extent to say we're gonna bring order back, but you gotta take, once you take the chip, you can eat again. Watch the movie, the very first movie, The Hunger Games. Watch that movie. There's a reason why it's called The Hunger Games. It's a great movie. And you can watch it for free. You can watch all of the movies back to back. I think they did like 5 of them. And it's all on YouTube for free. And clear too. What I do is I cast it to my my 46, 47 inch TV, which is like tiny compared to what my people got down in the Bronx. They got a fucking 100 square inch flat screen. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. This is what I want. They shall not, this is according to GMS, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, their presidents, their governors, their mayors, their aldermen. That's like in Chicago, you have aldermen. You have a council in New York. It says, according to GMS, government will lose control. Police and a military authority will fail. Elections, laws, and institutions will no longer matter. They claim this proves that democracy will collapse. Well, Trump called this an experiment. He called democracy an experiment. So we find out the current president, the last president, we said democracy doesn't fucking work. We got to change the system. Modern governments are about to fall, ultimately by fire. The course of their actions shall stand in their power. GMS interprets this as people acting without restraint, no moral accountability, every man for himself. 7 women shall take hold of 1 man so they can be protected. That's when these men it ain't gonna give a shit. They see a woman, a girl that's maybe 12, 13, they're gonna take her. They'll go bust into your house, take all your food, and take your daughter. And might use her as a body system. Watch the movie Hunger Games. Watch the movie Elysium. Watch the movie The Road. The Book of Eli, that's another one. That's kind of like a more a comedy compared to The Road. The Road was like the real deal. You wasn't smiling and laughing in that one. And in the Book of Eli, you were kind of laughing, you know. You had the moments of, what do you call it, levity, when you laughed a little bit. There wasn't no laughing in that motherfucking movie. You be thinking like, what if that shit happened to us? And it is going to happen. But the servants of the Most High shall eat. If you're a servant, you're going to eat. You're going to be taken care of. That's when faith kicks in. Like I said, there's brothers that's going to fall out this truth before the missiles come. Especially when it's time to take that chip. But look, dog, you going to feed us? Nigga, I'm trying to get them out. I'm just trusting the Most High like you. Some of them might just curse the Most High. Job's wife said, curse the Most High and die. And Job said in the Hood translation, he said, who the fuck is this bitch? He thought he had a righteous woman. She was righteous when everything was good. See? Job said, I'm paraphrasing, are we to accept the good things from the Lord and not the bad? That's why you think the Most High said, have you considered my servant Job? He said, you can't do nothing to this guy. Remember, the Most High had a bet with the spiritual demon Satan. They had a bet, because they do have bets. Sometimes the Most High called Satan, sometimes he called one of the demons, sometimes he called the righteous angels. Another thing with Christians, they think the devil is doing his own. The devil ain't doing his own thing. You know, there was a war. There was no fucking war in heaven. Yet, it says, who they believe is being judged. This is where their view strongly departs from mainstream biblical teaching. They claim that chaos is the Most High's judgment on non-Israelite nations. They teach that only people they identify as Israelites will ultimately be spared. Nope, the elect. The elect. They often apply the verse selectively to modern ethnic groups, which scholars reject. Well, they reject it, but we reject what they say. We don't honor and respect the words of these scholars. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they get it right. And truth be told, they know that we have the truth. The elite know that we have the truth. And everything that we say, but Armageddon, missiles, ICBMs are going to hit this place, and it's going to be a lake of fire. They know all that. They know all that. So you're going to arrest us for telling, hey, as soon as you arrest us, you're going to say, am I becoming your enemy because I tell you the truth? I'm just telling you the truth. You going into slavery, we're going to be your new slave masters. That's just the truth. That's in the scriptures. If you don't believe it, that's fine. You'll believe it when you're a part of it, when you experience it. It says how scholars and most Jews, Christians differ. Mainstream interpretation says the verse is symbolic and moral, not racial. It warns everyone about societal collapse caused by injustice. Don't get unjust. No, it's a prophecy. It's going to come to pass. Judgment is tied to behavior, not ethnicity. The goal is repentance, not superiority. When you ain't got no food in the house, you go to your next door neighbor. You 6'3", he 5'5". You're gonna bust him in the head, and you're gonna take what he got, and you may take his daughters, because that's part of the barter system too. You can sell their daughters. They're gonna get heartless, bro. It's an important note, especially for teens. Let me see what they're gonna say right here. Groups like GMS use apocalyptic verses to create fear and urgency. Yeah, we're just doing it to scare people. No, we're doing it. We're saying it because it's going to happen. It's prophetic. 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, chapter 16, chapter 13, and other books, chapter 6, chapter 4, is prophetic. Oh, let's scare it. No, we're not scaring the people. We're telling the people the truth. Now, if you want to fear it, go ahead. You're supposed to fear it. Read ancient texts as direct predictions of modern politics. Of course, it's called prophecy. Often ignore historical and literary context. Yeah, because that's why you scholars don't know what the fuck is going on. Understanding the interpretation doesn't mean it's accurate or healthy. One sentence comparison, GMS, the verse predicts imminent racial and political collapse and proves we are the Most High's chosen. Scholars, this verse warns that when society abandons justice and compassion, chaos follows. If you want, I can break down why GMS uses the second verse so heavily. Compare GMS teaching with biblical prophecy as the Messiah taught it. Show how apocalyptic texts are commonly misused. So they saying y'all got it wrong. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Okay, we'll see. Anyway, shalom, on to the next.